Live.
We live. Yeah, baby. Ooh. Back in effect. You already know. Yes, Sirski. What's cracking, all my constituents? What's cracking? You already know. This is about to be one of the reasons why I wanted to do this podcast. Beyond just the whole, that's all you, beyond wanting to help people that are struggling with addiction and recovery and mental health issues that I've overcome as well, is to be having conversations with people that have fascinating stories or people that I care about and have a message that the people definitely need to hear. And my boy right here, RIGGY MARZ, checks all boxes. You know what I'm saying?
Thank you for having me, man. Thank you, guys.
Hell yeah.
No, we appreciate it. With that being said, we live and direct, you feel me? Coming at you. This is Lush World, you feel me? Shouts to all my constituents. We running it up one time for the culture, you feel me? Y'all, if y'all don't understand the assignment by now, like, share, subscribe, you feel me? I don't care if you got a blood walk, crip walk, hoof stomp. If you, I don't care what affiliation you got. Just look, if you a player, if you a scammer, finesse the like button. If you a player, caress the like button. Do what you got to do. Like, share, run it up. We going crazy. Appreciate everybody logging in. This is going to be dope. This is somebody that I've been wanting to have on here for a long time. And some of y'all, if y'all are, if you've been rocking with me for a minute, you might be familiar with him. Some of y'all might not, but we're going to, by the time you're done, if you watch this, I guarantee you he's going to make a strong impression one way or the other. Trap 9 in the cut, that's a scary sight.
The fuck that shit, do everybody? You already know what it is. Bread chasing.
You feel me? One shot will leave you paralyzed. Haircut Trap in the building, going crazy. I don't even know what to call this haircut.
Hey, dog. It's just a taper, dog.
He looked like the flyest first grader in the world.
This dude said should have got an Edgar cut,
Always
fool.
talking shit.
Just,
I'm too old for an Edgar cut.
I would like to see Edgar Trap.
Edgar Trap.
Edgar Trap would be crazy.
What's up, motherfuckers? Hey, man, hit those likes. You already know what to do. Share this fucking live. Tap in with the real ones. You already know where we at. Stay tuned, though. We got some shit going down right now. Make sure y'all follow that IG, too. You know what it is. Ice Money Trap 9. What's good, though? What we got going on, Lush?
So, this is my close friend, consider him a brother, close collaborator musically, and fellow survivor of the war on drugs. A lot of people talk about my addiction, talk about me, call me a junkie, call me an addict, but my addiction, my demons look up to your demons. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
I'm flattered.
because my boy has really been through the trenches, through the eye of the storm, and somehow there's no reason why you should still be alive right now.
Yeah, a higher power definitely does exist. That's just, I'm living proof of that. You're living proof of that.
Absolutely.
Yeah, been through.
You're living proof of that.
Technically, we're one big book away from a meeting because we have 3 addicts right now chopping it up.
Hell yeah.
But before we get into, my boy's got some crazy stories, which he's gonna lay on us. Pause. But I want to know, like, your history. Pasadena, point of origin. Mm-hmm. Talk about the early days. Before you were RIGGY MARZ, before you were Mr. McStrange. Yeah. When you were still.
God, it gives me a headache just hearing those names. I was on so much meth, dude. I was sitting in a jail cell in LA County. I'm like, Mr. McStrange sounds like a dope name. I'm going to run with that. And, no one was like, dude, that's a bad idea. So I just ran with it, you know?
Well, way before that, you were just Stephen Melnick.
Yeah, my original rap name was, I started rapping. I started writing my own raps when I was about 14, 15 years old. I went by the name Eternal, spelled out Eternal.
Oh, yeah. Mr. E.T.
Yeah, E.T. for short, E.T. the Space Cadet, Steve the Flowbot, Mr. McStrange. The big homie Cadillac Ron, rest in peace. We do shows together, and I would use the moniker Riggy Marley, like after Ziggy Marley, right? And Caddy was always like, bro, you should just change your name to Riggy Marz, you know?
Yeah.
And, I got clean in 2018 and took all my old music down and just switched it entirely to that name, you know?
I always thought of it like damn near like a David Bowie reference too, like Riggy Tardust.
Yeah, that's tight.
Riggy, you got to have a Riggy Tardust song if you haven't already.
Shit, I might do like a David Bowie album remix and call it that.
That's kind of hard, right?
Yeah, hell yeah.
You've been clean ever since?
No.
This is
Nope.
General Scante, the Major Tom.
I ain't gonna lie, man. I'll keep it 100 on the pod. You know, right. No, my original. I mean, I've been in and out of recovery. I'm 36 years old, so since 15, I was like by my folks forced to go to IOP, an adolescent IOP. When I was a sophomore in high school.
Well, I want to talk about before we get there.
Yeah.
What's the early days? I know it's you and your brother.
Mm-hmm.
Shouts to my dog, Mookie, you feel me? Young Mike in the building. What was it like? What was early childhood like?
Like, where did I grow up? All that kind of shit. Yeah. I was born in Santa Monica Hospital, man, 1987. So, the West Side.
Yeah, the West Side, that's right.
Yeah, St. John's. I think it was called something else back then, though.
John's.
Okay, yeah. 1987, I lived in Manhattan Beach till that was like our first house, my family's first house, until 1996.
You can pull off that mic a little, by the way. Pause. It's just a little close. It's a little.
Oh, it's too close.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So I grew up in South Bay, Manhattan Beach. Until I was about 9, and then my family moved us to Whidbey Island, Washington, which is a small island about 40 miles north of Seattle, for 2 years. We moved back after 2 years. My dad was in the film industry, so he'd be working in Hollywood during the week and then commute every weekend to SeaTac Airport, drive to Whidbey.
The fool had a whole other family, huh?
Oh, probably for sure, bro.
You got a Mexican family.
Players in the blood, bro.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I love you, Mom.
I love your mom too. She's amazing.
Yeah. So, life, I grew up upper middle class, loved sports. My first love was skateboarding, to me, it's kind of like, an unofficial, like Fifth Element to hip hop. But I learned about a lot of hip hop music and just music in general through skate videos, and my dad was a film editor. So when he'd finish off a movie, he would bring a bag of cassette tapes home of all different genres and give them to me. So I just, I studied him, but yeah, sports, skateboarding. Yeah, man.
When did you start experimenting with illicit substances?
Well, I'd like to say, like, my first addiction was lying. I was a compulsive liar, and the need to
shit right there.
The need to feel accepted. Like, I would do stupid shit just to get a laugh out of people, even if they were laughing at me, kind of thing, because it felt euphoric, Like, I didn't even realize they were actually like making fun of me, but
Right.
My first drug I ever did was WD-40. Yeah, I was watching, shout out to Leonardo DiCaprio, man. I was watching The Basketball Diaries, classic film. And,
Great film.
My favorite scenes is when he's raiding the medicine cabinet and then, spraying paint in a paper bag and huffing it. And, there was this website, I think it's still up, called erowid.org, EROWID.org. And it's like all the drugs and the legalities of them and the effects of them and like that kind of shit. And before I even did those drugs, I was just obsessed with drugs for whatever reason, you know. But and I was young, so I didn't have access to anything cool, you know, maybe some weed, my parents' liquor cabinet, you know. So
do you remember the first time that like you really felt like you got loaded and you felt high, whether it was off the paint or what was your first high like?
The WD-40 just made me feel sick, dude. It was awful.
Fuck, that's crazy, dog.
I didn't do any inhalants till way later, like in my raver. I was never a raver, by the way. I was a trapper.
You sprayed it like in a bag and hoofed it?
Yeah. And then nitrous, you know.
I remember before I ever got my hands on some weed, I would take oregano from my parents, like my mom's like spice cabinet, and roll it up in line paper, like notebook line paper. I was like 10. I'd roll it up, fire it up, and would like practice smoking weed before I'd ever done it before. I remember one time, like my parents came home, they're like, what were you smoking pot? Like, what does it smell like? I was like, nah, I have no clue what you're talking about. But motherfucker was smoking oregano, bruh.
I've done that before.
Yeah.
You know, I've snorted wasabi. You know, the first time, like, you know, so WD-40, I was like 12 years old, maybe. Whoa. And I'd go to the skate park and like meet older kids who had weed. They'd rip me off, you know, like a couple times they sold me sugar cubes with like just a drop of water on them, sell it to me as acid, you know. And you know, my friends would take the same ones and be like, dude, I'm fucking tripping, bro, like, you know, like, and they weren't. We got ripped off clearly, but so it was weed until like the first time, like my memory of the first time I was just high out of my mind was freshman year of high school. I was at an art boarding school called Happy Valley in Santa Barbara County in Ojai, and they would on Fridays, the bus, it looked like the South Park bus for real. They'd drop us off in Santa Barbara or Ventura for a couple hours unaccompanied by adults. And we'd have like our parents would put money on our books. You feel me? So we'd have money to go see a movie or whatever we wanted to do on our pass, right? And we'd all piece up on weed. And I remember like sitting by this river and actually like really inhaled it for the first time. And I laughed harder than I've ever laughed in my life, dude. And I fell in love with it, you know? You know, anxiety at first, you know, but like once you build a tolerance, it's like it got comfortable, you know, being high. Same with heroin, you know, later on. Yeah, I got expelled that freshman year, and then my sophomore year is really when my drug use really took off. I went back to public school, South Pasadena High School. You know, so it was, you know, primarily like white and Asian kids. But the Asian kids, and we're right next to Highland Park, you feel me? So, you know, I was 16 years old with a crazy meth and coke plug. And then the Asians had the E-pills. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I got busted at school, and then my folks put me in an intensive outpatient program for adolescents. And that's where I first got introduced to the rooms.
So you're already like it at a very early age. As soon as you start using, you kind of accelerate from just fucking around and smoking weed to you're getting in trouble. Like you got kicked out of school mad quick, all that. So you're dealing with consequences off rip.
Absolutely. Yeah. But you know, it was fun. It was fun back then. It was fun for a long time, till it wasn't anymore. It was like they say, fun, then fun with problems, and then just problems, and then just straight like misery, you know? Everyone dying around me almost dying, like too many times to count, you know? But yeah, like it was when I got high, when I got intoxicated, really intoxicated for the first time, it was like, I felt like I was all my life from as far back as I can remember, I was just anxiety ridden. And felt like an alien. I felt like everyone was perfect and I wasn't doing something right, you know? And so getting high just alleviated it was like the first time I could breathe. Yeah. For the first time in my life, you know? So I was like, I want to do this forever, you know?
Yeah, I mean, completely relatable. It's funny how we all have such unique stories, but at the end of the day, none of us are special. It's all addicts can say the same thing. Like I felt like that gave me my sense of identity, purpose, well-being, all at once. Instantly, as soon as that first high hit me, I was like, I'm home. And I don't just want this to be an occasional thing. Like a lot of kids, they smoke weed. They're like, oh, that was fun. Maybe I'll do that again in a couple months. Like I was like, nah, where's it at? I need this on me at all times. I want to stay high.
Yeah. And then the Arrowwood website, you know, it had the list of all that. And I was on a mission to try all of them, dude. And I
That's crazy. So you were just checking them out and like checking out what they do, and you were like, oh shit, I want to try that shit.
Yeah, and then being 15 years old and IOP, being forced to go to AA meetings, and I'm by far the youngest person in the room. I'm hearing stories of like parolees that just got out that were like meth manufacturing and like shooting heroin, and I would raise my hand to share and like straight lie, dude. My entire like, I on the way to the meeting, I'd be like, hey, what am I going to talk about? Yeah, I'm going to tell him that like, you know, I used to make $1 million a month selling fucking whatever, you know. So I had to live up to those lies, you know. So like, in a way,
I was like that in juvie. I was for sure like, yeah. Oh, I've tried that before. Oh, I've done. You know what I mean? Like, nah, you haven't, fool.
Man. So
that's what you said about that website. I remember when I was popping a lot of e-pills, I would look them up to see what they had.
Yep.
Pillreports.com.
Yeah. I always used to look those shits up.
Even like, remember Dare? Like Dare classes?
Yeah. McGruff the dog, man.
Yeah. I would learn about the drugs. In 6th grade, we had like Dare class. It would be like, we would have to make little anti-drug like bulletin boards or whatever, or like poster boards. And it'd be like, and mine would be just like, it would look like a Cypress Hill concert. It would be like marijuana. I was like, this looks tight. Like LSD. I'd draw like, this dude sees the Smurfs and the Lucky Charms guy. Like, I was like, yeah, okay, maybe like crack seems kind of bootsy. Like I'm not fucking with crack, and like, you know, like heroin, nah. Like
I loved crack.
Yeah, of course, it's great. But I'm saying like
at that time, at that point, when you were like, I'm not gonna write that.
Yeah. I'm like, I'm not gonna, like, I don't want to fuck with it, but like this LSD shit, sure, that looks kind of cool. And
what about coke?
Smoking weed looks cool, and like drink, like
coke was actually good then.
Coke,
yeah, cocaine, yeah, back in the day.
But like at that time, I was scared of coke when I was a kid. Like when I'm like in 6th grade.
At this point,
I'm like 11, 12.
Oh,
you feel me? That's right around the time I first started smoking weed, and then drinking. I mean, like drinking, smoking weed, syrup. Like, you know, then it went to little pills, and then it kind of like, before I know it, I'm like 15. I'm doing blow.
I'm sure if I got into it at your age, like 11, 12, I would have gone to juvenile hall as well.
Yeah. I mean, I got arrested at 13. Like, I mean, but like you getting sent to like a boarding school is kind of like a form of, was it done in a punitive way, or was it?
No, it was like a very prestigious art boarding school. And then there were like daytime students that like lived in Santa Barbara and Ojai. And then it was a bunch of foreign exchange students, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like we'd get weekend passes, and the homie, you know, like the homies that were from other states that were at the school who'd never even been to California, they would go on a pass, and my parents would pick us up in the Suburban and drive us back to Pasadena and buy fake sugar cubes of acid, you know, and be like, dude, you feel it? Yeah, I feel it, bro. I'm tripping, dude, you know? I never saw that guy again, dude. I'm glad I didn't either. But then like, yeah, I'd steal liquor, like expensive liquor out of my parents' liquor cabinet, bring it back to the school. And you know, like I was, like, and you know, like with my using career, it wasn't just the using, it was, you I'm not incriminating myself because I've like paid my debt to society for it. I got convicted. Yeah, I did it, but I was trapping from a young age, bro. Like even before drugs, my dad being a film editor, he worked for Playboy at one point, and I would steal Playboy VHS tapes and sell them to like other kids at school in 3rd grade.
Playboy was a hot commodity back
Fuck yeah, dude. Pogs.
Yeah.
Pogs, Playboy.
Pogs.
They had this shit called Raven's Revenge. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
It was in a test tube, like extremely sour powder candy.
Yeah.
We'd snort it and eat it, and then they banned it from our school because it was like it resembled drug paraphernalia. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, Dare. I remember Dare like coming to our school with a briefcase full of drugs.
What?
Yeah.
Should have robbed that fool.
Yeah, dude.
At what point? So did you wind up graduating from South Pass High, or?
So it was my sophomore year, and I would have to go to school every day until like 3 p.m. and then go to outpatient 6 days a week, Monday through Saturday, from like 3:30 p.m. to like 10 p.m. every night. And everyone else, like some of them were my age, some of them were even 18, 19 years old, but still lived at home with their parents. So they made a deal with their parents, like in order to live with me, you like have to do outpatient. So they were already out of high school. So like I had to get a meeting card signed off showing that I, attended meetings. So like, I'm like, okay, like, I guess like AA is I have to do the program. Right. So, I got, going to school was triggering, man. And like, they were doing fun shit on weeknights because they were already graduated and stuff, and I wanted to go have fun too. So, my homie's like, dude, you should get your GED. So I took my CHSPE, California High School Proficiency Examination. So I tested out of school after my sophomore year.
Okay.
And then just did the 12-step program full time,
Yeah.
By the time I was 18 years old, I'd get a dirty test, and these tests were they were so like I remember I drank 1 beer on a Friday, right? And I didn't have group till Monday, and they tested me. The results came back Tuesday, and I popped for alcohol.
What the fuck?
Like that's how they were expensive ass tests, bro.
Yeah.
You could not fake them, dude. Even with like the Whizzinator, like drinking Certo powder and the fucking Gatorade.
Well, it's weird because like alcohol doesn't really stay in your system that long. So
no, but what's the word? Like the not the alcohol content, but like the whatever else. Like you don't pop for alcohol, you pop for like what is
the other chemicals.
Yeah, you know what I mean? So they put 2 and 2 together or whatever. So I'd get a dirty test and they'd send me to, inpatient treatment for 3 months or 6 months. And so by the time I was 18, I'd been in 2 outpatients and 3 inpatient treatment centers. 18, I was at Los Encinas with Dr. Drew Pinsky from K-Rock, Loveline, and Bob Forrest, pre-celebrity rehab,
right,
were my doctors at Los Encinas.
That's crazy.
And it's funny too, because Dr. Drew was like, with the amount of ecstasy that you've done, you'll never be happy without medication.
Big Pharma's literally crawling in his asshole and laying tarantula eggs.
Yeah. And that's a common thing. Addicts get misdiagnosed all the time. Like I got diagnosed at bipolar on a Monday. I was 18, but I was at EDC all weekend. Like I probably popped like 30, 40 something e-pills. Like of course I'm going to be bipolar 8 a.m. the next day, So then I'm on psych meds that I really shouldn't be taking because I don't need them, like I'm just having common, teenage like depression and anxiety.
Right. What's the craziest either psychedelic or ecstasy story you got? We're gonna get into like I know you have crazy cocaine, meth, fentanyl stories. We're gonna get into that, but we're still at the earlier stages of addiction right now. Tell me like a crazy psychedelic story you got.
Well, I was this was 2017, and I was living in Humboldt County at the
I already knew you. We were like,
yeah. We were
I known
doing
you for
this
like
shit.
7 years.
I was bringing packs back and forth and shit, you know.
We met in like 2008 or 9.
Yeah. Then we kind of just got reacquainted after, you know, Caddy passed away.
Right.
But I was in Humboldt County, and this hippie guy, like, I bought like 4 vials of acid off him because I was working the full grow season there, you know, light depth, outdoor greenhouse, right? And doing acid, like just overdoing it to the max, you know what I mean? And he, dude had a pure like crystal form of LSD 25.
Yep.
And I didn't do a full thumbprint, but you know, it's called doing a thumbprint. You press your thumb into a pile of the pure LSD,
Which is like 100 hits.
Thousands of hits.
Yeah.
What the fuck?
So I did like a quarter of my thumb, and thank God I was in nature, surrounded by redwood trees and beautiful weed plants and like these like foreigner trimmer chicks we hired. But I was hallucinating for like 3 months straight.
What?
Literally, like the only time I slept is because my girlfriend at the time would drug my beer with Seroquel.
Wow.
So you could sleep?
Yeah, so I'd have crazy, and it was like not even sleep. I would be like,
Seroquel is fucking strong.
Seroquel will take you out.
oh yeah, dude, oh yeah. We'd
I tried that shit once when my brother had that shit, and he literally gave me a little piece. I was like, what the fuck is this, bro? I seen him pull out the pill, and he broke off a little tiny piece, bro, like crumbs.
the 1,000 milligram pills.
It was a big ass white pill.
Yeah.
He just like chipped off a little tiny piece of it, bro.
He was out.
I was like, what is this shit? He's like, bro, he's like, trust me, just pop that and see how you feel. Bro, I was out. That shit is strong.
Yeah.
So I took this acid, and wow, dude, what an experience. So after I did that, my boy is like, he was like a Deadhead, Grateful Deadhead, right? He's like, dude, you can get a steal your face tattoo now, you know? Steal your face, you know, the Grateful Dead logo.
Because it's family.
Right, and the lightning bolt thing on it is actually the molecular structure of LSD. It's like 12 points or whatever, right? And so people that have done the thumbprint earned their steal your face tattoo.
Right.
So I got that shit on my forearm.
It's the hippie version of a teardrop tat.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
That's crazy.
Exactly. So that's, I mean, I have so many of those, man.
But you were loaded for 3 months straight.
3 months, man.
Do you feel like that permanently altered you?
Oh yeah. I had a dark depression for a couple of years after that. Like, I would try like herbal, because I didn't want to get back on psych meds, you know? So I'd take like 5-HTP, and like, you know, some dude at a Moon Tribe party, desert rave, for those that don't know, they have them all around SoCal and NorCal. He was like, you should try 5-HTP, bro. And I'm like, 5-HTP? And 5-HTP is like a natural serotonin pill.
Yeah. That's what you take after you pop E.
Right, raving all weekend, you take the 5-HTP, so that helped a little bit, but it took. I'm still not right.
Were you
from
still
it.
able to eat normal and shit?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. My appetite wasn't as strong. But like, dude, I was in I don't know what dimension I was in, dude.
Yeah.
But
yeah,
and I was tripping even harder because where my boy's property is, like, if you drive to the top of the mountain on a clear day, you can see Mount Shasta from across the way, which is like the root chakra of the world, you know? So like the energy just on that mountain is so
that's crazy
strong. So it amplified my trip, you know what I mean? Yeah, I talked to God, man. I talked to my ancestors and shit. Like it was mind blowing. But it definitely did damage. I'd say like who knows what kind of damage fentanyl does to you? It's so new. Meth, of course, they're all bad for your brain. But like LSD and ecstasy, I definitely overdid. You know,
your pineal gland was just overstimulated.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
To the point where it's palpitating. So, At what point did opiates come into your life?
I was 21 years old. That was actually the last drug to scratch off my list, and it was like I didn't even really like it. Like I'd gotten knee surgery before and like broke bones and shit from skateboarding, so I'd get a little, 15 pill Norco or Vicodin script. But heroin, how it went down was like kind of just circumstantial. Like a friend of mine was, rest in peace, alcoholism, cirrhosis of the liver at 30 years old, drank himself to death. My boy was like, yo, I got a little homie that needs a ride to MacArthur Park to like pick up heroin. Will you give him a ride? He'll give you gas money and like kick you down. And I'm like, yeah, fuck it. I had nothing to do that day. You know what I mean? So I gave this dude a ride, and he gave me gas money and smoked me out with a balloon. It was like the little rat turd, the little $10 balloons. If you buy a pack of 13 of them, they come in a pack of 13. You get them for $4 or $5 a piece. I smoked one of those, got nauseous, puked. But I took this dude on those trips every day to MacArthur Park for him to cop. He'd give me a balloon or 2 balloons, and I smoked enough days in a row to where I got a tolerance. And then
So you were actively seeking out, like a part of you on a subconscious level, you were seeking out a heroin addiction, kind of like.
Yeah.
Because was there a part of you that after you yacked the first time, did you want to try it? Like, were you like, I like this? Did it feel good?
I felt better after I puked. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. I did. And I woke up one day and he didn't need me to drive him. And I was so sick, and I don't get sick. Like I don't ever get the flu or anything. And
You were like, what the fuck's wrong with me?
Yeah,
Did you know that it causes withdrawals?
No, because my whole drug history prior to that was like psychedelics, crack, coke, meth, ecstasy. I'd never experienced physical withdrawals. I was never really a drinker.
Right.
Yeah.
Benzos hadn't been a thing for me yet, but at that point, at least not physically dependent on them, But I woke up and I called my boy and I was like, dude, I think I'm dying. Like, and he's like, you got the Malias, homie. I was like, the Malias. He's like, you're dope sick, fool. I was like, dope sick? Like, what the fuck is that, And then I didn't stop for, I was 21.
How long? So how many days in a row were you doing it before you got dope sick?
Every day.
Like, how long did that?
About 2 weeks.
I was about to say like 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Yep.
Did you get mad that he didn't tell you that it gets you dope sick?
No, I was mad that he didn't need me to drive him anymore, dude. I called him and cussed him out, like, fuck you, dude. You had someone, because he got someone else to drive him, and he didn't have to, he only gave him $5 for gas because he was an actual junkie and was just cool with, just that. And so it was like more affordable for homie's pocket, so he didn't need me anymore. But I eventually, walking around Alvarado, I ran into that connect of his and got that phone number. And then it went from smoking a couple of those balloons to slamming like 6 at a time to graduating to black tar, and then, 2015 fentanyl.
How long did it take for you to graduate to playing with needles? From when you first started?
When I got out of Los Encinas, that time with Dr. Drew, I had a roommate at the time. I was living in Pasadena. We had a 2-bedroom apartment. Do I need to look at like any certain camera? Or
No, we're just talking.
I got out of rehab and I came home to my apartment and it was just trapped out, like people sleeping on the cum-stained couches. Like there's probably like 10 different blood types dribbled all over that shit, and my carpets, blood splatters on the ceiling from flicking the needle to get the bubbles out. You know what I mean? And like my mom would come visit and she'd be like, "Are you doing fucking heroin?" I'm like, "How would you know that?" She's like, "There's blood splatter on the ceiling." I'm like, damn, you should be a homicide detective or something. Like, but my first thing I shot was powder coke. I came home and they were doing K. It was my birthday. And he's like, "Yo, you want a line?" I'm all, "Sure." Snorted coke. And he's like, "You want to shoot it?" And I was terrified of needles by that point, so I was like, all right, yeah, fuck it. So I like closed my eyes, went like this, and he tied my arm off, and you know, registered, hit me, took the tie off, and I just stood right up like, oh, like you know, the ohm sound, like, you know, the monkeys with the titanium cymbals like in my ears. Coke, yeah, dude. Fuck. And then
you got the ring
like a motherfucker, bro. And then as soon as I learned how to hit on my own, it was on and cracking, dude. I started going to the needle exchange, and they give you a brown paper bag, you know, with cookers and cotton swabs and sterile water and, you know, a tourniquet, and there's
Narcan.
Yeah, I think Narcan had like just come. It was the injectable one, you know, little vials with the needle you stick in, you know, because this was like 2000, I want to say 8 or 9. But I go to the needle exchange and I get my paper bag and I open it and there's this little baggie of white powder, and I ask the dude, the what do you call him, who work for like a nonprofit, the volunteer, what is this? And he's like, vitamin C powder. I was like, for what? And he talked to me like I was stupid, like for shooting your crack, or like breaking down the baking soda so you can shoot your crack. I was like, oh. He's like, or you can use lemon juice, you know. So later that night,
like putting you up on game.
Yeah, dude. Like, fucking,
thanks a lot, dickhead.
Yeah, fucking asshole, dude. And so later that night, I'm running around MacArthur Park trying to find one dime rock of crack left. I couldn't for the fucking life of me find a fucking lemon tree, bro. I was looking everywhere for a lemon tree, dude, to shoot my issue, you know. And then so it was that, and then, you know, heroin, graduated to heroin.
Fools use Gatorade for that. Fucking fools use Kool-Aid. I've heard like all kinds.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you this: the only reason I'm alive is because I've never played with needles.
I agree with you. Knowing you back when you were using, absolutely.
The type of addict I was, for some reason, I just, you know, never got into needles.
You might as well have used needles and shared them. I mean, you were snorting lines of meth off the Staples Center toilet seat, right?
I gave no fucks. You know what I mean? But like
at the end of the game, you know. Yeah.
I gave no fucks, but for some reason the needle is just, I don't know.
Hey, what the fuck was that white powder for? I never heard of that.
The vitamin C. So like you put the crack in this. Well, what I would do, I'd chop off the bottom end of an Arizona can. Yeah. Until I found out that a lot of the proceeds that Arizona, they donate to the DEA for that fund the helicopters that fly over Mendocino and Humboldt County, like busting.
I heard that too, yeah.
So then I stopped using Arizona cans and I would just use like, you know, fucking whatever, like Kerns or something. You put the crack rock in it, smush it up, add the vitamin C powder, a little bit of water, and it gets rid of it breaks down the baking soda. So in reality, you're actually shooting a more pure form of cocaine.
Oh shit!
You know what I mean?
Kids, don't try this at home.
Yeah,
do not try this at home.
I've never heard of that. That's crazy.
And it'll eat your arms up, man. Like coke and crack and meth. Just like I blew out my veins hella fast. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, that shit's all bad.
I remember I had a girlfriend at the time, and she would come over and buy coke off.
Shouts to my boy Nick at Night for the $50 donation.
Shout out Nick at Night though.
Let's go.
Hey.
Yeah. Don't worry about the toilet seats. I was not snorting off the Staples Center toilet seats, by the way, guys. But I did some deplorable shit, but
it wasn't. I'm my bad. I lied. It wasn't Staples Center. It was Union Station. You know, they let you do whatever you want in there, dude. You know, like
why not?
I would sit on the toilet. I'd go to Union Station and sit on the toilet, pull my pants down, like pretending I'm gonna shit, right? And I'd flush the toilet, right? But there's still like floaties and shit in there. And I'd dip my needle in the toilet water in between my legs, draw it up, and just muscle that shit.
Oh my God.
You know? I've broke the biohazard box off a wall in a bathroom before because my needles were so dull that, you know, under a microscope, they'll look, you know, like this, you know?
And look, I want to put this out there for anybody so people don't get it twisted or misconstrued. Like, you're one of the more intelligent people that I've spoken to. Great artist, huge heart, You know what I mean? Like you, super cultured, can have conversations with the best of them when it comes to, you know, music, film, art, politics, whatever, you know, esoteric, eccentric concepts, all that. You're like a really, really gifted, intelligent person with a really good soul.
I appreciate it.
And you have a lot to offer. You come from a good family. Why did this happen?
Why did this happen? You know, I mean, I was born with the gene, as they say. It's hereditary in my blood. You know, you know, all the, like, I try to make jokes out of it's the grimy drug shit I did, but I'm not glamorizing it whatsoever. It almost destroyed my life completely and killed me. It's killed most of my friends, most of our friends, and it's not a fucking game. But hereditary, both grandparents on like my mom's and dad's side both died of cirrhosis of the liver young from alcoholism. So it makes sense why I'd get into opiates, because they affect the same part of the brain, you know? Like I've visioned myself like my ultimate bottom probably wouldn't have even been with heroin. It would be with a bottle of liquor. And I hate alcohol, but I'll drink hand sanitizer when I'm locked up.
Right.
And I'll mix it with the Pruno. That shit's fire.
That's like Hennessy.
Yeah, yeah.
Like jailhouse Hennessy.
You know, green champagne, bro. But no, insecurity mixed with peer pressure, mixed with it felt good. Did
you feel like were you like popular as a kid and things like that?
You know, I played sports. I wasn't like a loser in school, but I had, you know, they like, yeah, when I was like 3 years old, like my mom's like brushing my hair for school one day, and like have you seen the movie The Faculty with Josh Hartnett?
Okay.
You know, and the teachers, they're turning into aliens and their hair is just falling out.
Right.
My hair fell out like that. Like
alopecia type shit.
That's what they thought it was. I'm going to all the top UCLA doctors and all that, and they're like, oh, it's alopecia areata. And it was not. They later found out it was through Agent Orange from my dad being exposed to it in Vietnam.
Oh, shit.
So probably some psychological issues as well. You know, I'm the firstborn. So yeah, dude, I had low self-esteem, and I really felt different than everybody, because like everyone had a head of hair, dude. I had bald, you know, it's grown. I shave my head now, but it grew in, you know, in my early 20s, like, thank God, in the spots. But I was teased, but I was teased by like, you know, I was popular. I was pretty popular in school. You know, I was skateboarding. I was, you know, like.
But like the lame jocks would like hate on you.
The lame jocks.
Yeah.
And I'd fucking school them in basketball, soccer, baseball, all that shit. You know what I mean? So yeah, I was like kind of in the middle as far as like popularity. But you know, the girls seemed to like me a lot. That's probably what pissed the jocks off. I'd smash their bitch, you know?
Right. Common tale.
Yeah. You know?
So, okay. So at the point where you're in your early 20s, your addiction is going cray-cray in these streets.
Full blown, yeah.
You on fleek mode with it. At what point did you wind up having your son?
I was 21 years old.
So you had your son right around that time?
Yeah, right around the time. You know, his mother and I had broke up. You know, I love my baby's mom. She's married now. I'm not going to talk bad on her. That's the mother of my child. But that breakup was so devastating. It was kind of like my real first relationship. So I'm like waiting. I remember I'm like waiting for my son to be born, waiting for the phone call, right? So when dude hit me up like, yo, can you give dude a ride to MacArthur Park? I'm like, sure, I got nothing to do. And like the relief that I felt from the heroin, just that warm blanket, and like all the worry and stress and anxiety just dissipating, I fell in love. Like, why would I quit? You know, like I felt like, you know, I had courage to talk to people, and like, you know, so that it became psychologically addicting as fuck as well, because you know, it made me I was better at everything. You know what I'm saying?
Of course.
When in reality is quite the opposite, you know?
So would you say that you started to do other like uppers, like meth and more coke and crack and stuff to kind of balance out the heroin? Is that what?
Eventually, yeah, I'd shoot goofballs, which is, you know, meth and heroin together, intravenously, Belushis, you know, cocaine and heroin. Dude, the first time, and that's the thing too, like I like, you know, I didn't just do the drugs, like I did the lifestyle with it because I was a fiend, man. Like, so I followed wherever the drugs were at, you know, the homies had the dope, like, we're gonna go pull a lick, cool. Like I get a couple grams out of it, let's go, you know? So I started mixing, you know, I became a poly substance abuser, you know, whatever you got, from hand sanitizer to WD-40 to bath salts to, you know, ketamine to, you know, whatever. That's when I started doing heroin, that's when I started catching cases.
So what was your first case you got?
Like real case, I was 22. My son was about to turn 1, and I was like, you know, at that time I was you know, moving a lot of, I was frequenting raves, underground raves, and pushing pills and K. And I knew like I had to change for my kid, you know? So like my buddy who ended up, he was like the first music producer I'd ever worked with. Shout out to Panorama Beats, wherever you're at, man. You saved my life. I love you. Contact me if you ever see this. I don't know where he is. I scared the shit out of him. I like overdosed. I had a kidney failure at 24 years old, and that scared the shit out of him and kind of fucked our friendship up. But he invited me up to Humboldt, and that's where I met a grower, where I had gone for those seasons where I took the acid. And he's like, he's like, oh, you're from LA? Like, that's so cool. You know any celebrities? You know how people are like that aren't from here, you know? I was like, yo, check this out, bro. Like, and this dude, you know, he's pulling like 500 plus pounds of harvest. You know what I'm saying? So I was like, yo,
so he's making racks.
That was when outdoor abode was going for 3,500 a pound.
So he's making millions.
After paying trimmers and the workers, he'd come home with about, I don't know, 1.5 or something, maybe, you know? More if he broke it down, but he sold them in pounds, of course. But I was like, yo, I can move all this shit. And he's like, how about I start you off with 5? I was like, hell yeah. Drove that shit down to LA. Came back 3 days later with his, it was like $10,000 or something. And then he gave me 10, and then he gave me 20. And I'm on heroin, you know, and it's funding my heroin addiction, and I'm making money, and I'm also like not selling. Weed was still illegal then. Medical was cool, but like this was 2009. So I had been making those trips for about a year, and I got to the mountain, and I was like, and I was going to spend the night, load up my trunk, and then drive home the next morning. And, I was like, yo, I need to go to Eureka, bro. I'm sick. I need to get some heroin, you know? And, I was like, I'll just load up the trunk with the shit now. It's like, why the fuck would you do that? And he even said, he's like, why would you load the trunk up now if you're coming back, like to stay, let's just load it up tomorrow, you know? And I was like, yeah, but you know, I don't know what I said, but I ended up loading up the trunk. I had 21 half pounds on me.
Now, if people don't know, just to put this in perspective, riding on the 101 between Eureka and Willits, which is Mendocino County, all the way up to Humboldt, to the tip of Humboldt, there's more feds and DEA agents and than anywhere in the country, probably.
If you have out-of-towner plates,
you're getting blurred.
Or even California plates, but the thing around it is like, you know, Glendale,
you're getting
Nissan, you're getting fucking pulled over, dude. So
1,000%.
So I get 10 little like balloons of black tar. They're like 0.1s or something, right?
In your head, are you thinking like, I'm just gonna cop this and dip.
Yeah.
So
Like dip back to the mountain?
no, dip back to LA.
Oh no, I would never burn this dude. Like,
So you really should have just. There's no reason why you should have put it in your trunk.
absolutely not. No, fuck no. You know, and so I did that, and I'm driving, and I got high in Eureka. I'm driving on the 299 towards Redding. You know, that direction. So Eureka up to Arcata, you cut right, and I'm going 73 and a 65, and the CHP pulls me over. Now Panorama's in the car with me, and he had his backpack in the trunk with his wallet and ID and a scale and an ounce of weed, and then I had the 21.5 pounds in the trunk and all the heroin, and I'm getting pulled over, and I'm like dry swallowing these balloons, and the cop had to have seen me through my rearview mirror like I'm eating something. So he pulls me over, and I'm like young and naive, like, you know, like not, well, yeah, I was young, not so naive. I was with the shit. I just wasn't thinking clearly, bro, at the time, and I was speeding, right? So he pulled me over. I cracked the window, smelled it immediately,
Slapped him in the face.
slapped him in the face, dude. And my boy Panorama, he's like, "Sir, can I see your ID?" And Panorama's giving him attitude like, "Why?
Yeah.
You pig." And I was just like, "Oh my God." So he's like, "Pop the trunk." And I pop the trunk. He gets me out the car, and he hands me a pen, and he's like, "Throw it up." And I was like, "Throw what up?" He's like, "I saw you swallowing something. Throw it up." And I'm just like, so I stuck the pen down my throat to throw it up. Fucking stupid. I
didn't have to do that.
deny, right? But I was already fucked because he like the weed, you know. And by the grace of God, I only puked up one balloon instead of the other 9, right? So my charges were transportation, distribution, trafficking, and possession of heroin. Because it was my first case, you know, I had a good attorney, and they got me Prop 36 felony probation, AB 109. And they wanted to keep me on probation in Humboldt County though. And I was like, dude, I got a like newborn at home, like my life's at home. Like, so my boy who fronted me the shit bailed me out. And so I was 22 to 29, in and out of county jail, treatment, overdoses. Got back with baby mama. Her and I were like Bonnie and Clyde. She's stripping at Deja Vu. I'm selling everything at the clubs with the security support, like, you know, and it just got, it's a progressive disease, you know?
Did you know how out of control you were?
I knew that like I couldn't control myself, but as long as I was making money, to me, like my life didn't seem unmanageable because I was paying rent. Like I was cool, but you know, I wasn't there for my kid at the time, you know? And you know, all I can do now is, you know, just be there now to make up for any lost time I had with him, you know? But that's what addiction does. It doesn't affect just the person. I used to think, oh, like I'm only hurting myself, but it's a family disease. It affects everyone around you, like all your loved ones, you know what I mean? So, and they all suffer because of, you know, like, so I would justify it. Like, you know, like I knew from being forced to go to meetings early on, you know, like I was a drug addict, but I didn't care, dude. I didn't love myself.
And your baby mom was addicted at that time too? Or?
Yep. She was a tweaker, and you know, I introduced her to it, dude. You know?
So you got her turned out low key.
I did, yeah. And she's, you know, she's good now, but so that was that case. So I got Prop 36. They transferred my probation to LA, Pasadena courthouse. And then it was a bunch of, you know, I did a county lid, 90 days, 30 days. And then I got busted. I was on probation for 2 years. I was like almost done with this probation, and then I got pulled over, and I got booked on charges of sales of Xanax, sales of heroin, and sales of marijuana. And the weed, they only charged me with the sales of weed because I had a scale and I had a burner phone that I always OCD, like delete the messages and switch phones every like week, right? Put minutes on it, but pay with cash, you know, with sunglasses on in the store, like, you know what I mean? But the heroin, they read through my burner phone. So they they drove to my motel because I had the motel key card, and the heroin was in the motel room. The Xanax was prescribed to me. So, but I had to plead to, you know, I had to take a deal. Like, right. So I pled no contest to, you know, sales of marijuana. And then they ran those probations concurrent. So then I was like 27. So then it was like 2 more years of, you know, drinking Q Carbo and like going to the sauna, you know, before a drug test, because I'd have to call in and, you know, random tests and violation. And then they finally, after 14 dirty tests, and mind you, my PO was the same one my baby's mom had before me. She claimed this shit like a gangster, and I was even like, no, it's mine. Like, she went to jail for me, dude. What was I saying? The probation officer. I had 14 dirty drug tests. They remanded me and they gave me 2 years state prison. AB 109. So by that point, the laws had changed. So nonviolent. 109? Yeah, nonviolent, like you're doing county time, which is worse, you know. And I did, I was low level, you know, so they put me as a trustee at first. And then, so that shaved some time off. So I ended up doing 10 months off 2 years. And then I've been off paper since. You know,
what was like did you have any gnarly fades you had to catch when you was locked up?
When I was like 18, yeah, just because I didn't know how shit went down, you know, and you know, it was stuff like it was stuff, stupid shit, but serious, like not courtesy flushing, you feel me, like shit like that. And yeah, I've been boo-bop, bro. Yeah, you know what I mean. But it was mostly like me doing the boo-bopping.
Well, it's like different also because, you know, if you're from like, if you're a blood or a crip, you instantly have a gang of fades when you go into a county. You know what I mean? Like
and they're brutal, bro.
Yeah, and there's different. You know, every car has their own way of getting down and routines and shit. Like, now a lot of people have the idea that if you're white and you run wood, that you're racist.
Not true.
Can you break that down for the people? Can you educate people?
Yeah, I mean, you know, it's you know, my big homies, you know, they're like hip hop heads and shit. How the fuck can you be racist and be a hip hop head, you know? Like, but like, realistically, you know, the white, like the skins and the white, you know, the woods roll together, right? But like they're under the same card, even though like we'll kind of beef, but it's all under AB. It's all under the brand.
So that's why people think that,
you know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, like, you know, the shots are called from up there, you know? But yeah, I'm not down with that racist shit. Fuck no, dude.
Yeah. And,
you know, I've gotten into a lot of fights with skins in there, like trying to push the 88 politics and shit like that. And, you know, I hated it in there, man.
And a lot of times, you know, y'all are cool with the essays too, right?
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I grew up in LA, man. Like most of my homies are Mexicans, man.
Right.
You know? Right. I should know way better Spanish than I do. It's kind of embarrassing. You want to teach me, bro?
Your baby mom's Mexican, right?
Yeah. Mexican and Puerto Rican. Yeah. Yep.
But okay. So after that last time, and that was after I already knew you. That last time you did the 10 months, right?
Yeah.
That was like that situation you got into with bro and them, right?
Yes, because
you don't gotta say anything.
I got out January 6th, 2016. And then Cadillac Ron passed away January 22nd. Mm-hmm. And he had hit me up like 2 days before, like, yo, I heard you're out, bro. Let's link up. But I was really trying to do good at the time. So like, and I had nowhere to live at the time. I'm staying at my mom's house, you know? So like, I'm scared to even leave the crib. So like, and you know, Caddy, Caddy, like I wanted to see him, whether he was using or not, but like, I don't know what happened. I don't know why we didn't meet that night. But then 2 days later, like I go on Facebook in the morning and it's like, I thought it was like a fucking disrespectful like meme someone posted, like RIP Cadillac Ron, you know? And I was just like, dude, I was just on the phone with him, you know? So like it eats me up that I didn't, I feel like maybe, you know, I could have like helped him out, whatever he was going through, struggling with mentally and emotionally and shit, you know? But that's I have to look at that kind of like our loved ones that have passed away from this disease. I it's kind of selfish, but it's the only way that I understand why like the universe took them away is like they sacrificed themselves so we could get sober.
Yeah, and I didn't get a chance to see Caddy the whole like last month of his life really, and I hadn't seen him for a couple months before then actually, so that was definitely heartbreaking. Yeah. I mean, that's one of my best friends ever. Describe to the people who is Cadillac Ron. Well, how did you meet him? Just break down the Caddy legacy for those who don't know.
Man, I was 18 years old. There's this meeting in Hollywood called Hollywood Late Night. It was a midnight meeting.
It's an AA meeting for those.
AA meeting, Alcoholics Anonymous. It's still there, but a different location. This was, but I don't think the Lava Lounge is there anymore on La Brea and Sunset, right. But it was above the Lava Lounge, and I'm there, and I'm in the corner, like just freestyling, you know what I mean? And Caddy he sees me like. Kind of like he walked up to me, kind of like loped up on me, bro, you know? And but like we were just shooting the shit and rapping, and Panorama was with me that night, and so he had drove me there, and so we skipped the entire meeting. Caddy had like 6-7 years sober at this time, and we went down to the car and we were just playing instrumentals, rapping, and like became homies like that, bro. And he's like, yo, I got a show this weekend at the Good Hurt in Santa Monica. I don't think that venue's around anymore. But he's like, I got a show at the Good Hurt this weekend. You wanna rock a set? And I was like, fuck yeah. So like fucking a lot of the shows Caddy would do, like till he got really busy with the battle shit, you know, he kind of slowed down on the live gigs, but I would do a lot of those shows with him, you know. And he just like, he was a mentor to me, man. You know what I mean? He just inspired me, man, and inspired everyone around him, you know? I know you can relate to that.
Yeah, that dude's he's the king of an entire subsection and genre of hip hop, really.
I remember at that period of time too, like there was a LA Weekly article, and it's like two MCs, underground MCs to watch out for in LA, and it was Caddy and Open Mike Eagle.
Yeah.
At the time, you know. So Caddy, I did some, you know, my first shows with Caddy. He just like, you know, he hooked me up like that, you know, and introduced me to people. I met the homie Concept from San Luis Obispo. That's how I met Grim Ace, who's also from there, and that was like the first MC I started doing like duo collaborative shit with, and performing at like the Terrace, the Knitting Factory, you know,
classic underground venues.
Yeah, man, the Terrace was lit, bro.
Terrace was lit. Pasadena
represent, man.
At what do you have I know you got multiple, but can you think of a crazy Caddy story? Those people.
My craziest Caddy story.
Yeah,
dude. Caddy and I would jack each other all the time, dude. Like short each other. Like we'd short each other, like fucking man. You know, he put me up on game. Oh, you need the fire crack, dude? Go to 7th and San Julian, you know? I'm like, oh, word, you know? So not in front of the Midnight Mission, like 7th and San Julian, cool. My craziest caddy story that comes to mind is one of them. I'm not going to talk about just because it involves like we were getting chased by the police essentially. But my baby's mom at the time was working at a strip club in LA, and this dude, I'm in the crowd, and this dude with bandages all over his face and hands and neck. He looked like a mummy, you know? He stands up like close next to me. He's like, "Yo, what's up, ET?" And I was like, "What the what? Hi, like, do I know you?" And he's like, "It's Caddy, bro." You know, like, he was weird as fuck like that, dude. And I was just like, "Dude, what are you doing? You know, like, are you sober?" "Yeah, man, I just took like 2 years." Like, and okay, you're doing this shit. But he was there like, you know, it's kind of personal, like why he was there, but like he dressed up as a burn victim so like, you know, they like, I'm sure asked for his ID to get in, and they just looked at him and they're like, just go inside, you know? But he was in there like looking like a burn victim. Like, I think he was like waiting for a stripper to get off work to take her out on a date or something. I don't know. Then the other time, you know, we're getting chased by it was like a police chase, and I
mean, statute of limitations, good. What happened?
We're like trying to ditch the cops, and they catch up to us, pull us over, and we get out there like their guns drawn, like driver, put your hands on the wheel, right? And then passenger, like put your arms out the window. So I'm like this, his hands are on the wheel, like step out slowly, walk forward, step to the side, lay face down. So Caddy and I are laying face down, like, you know, and the cops with their knees on our back, dude. Like I had scratches on the side of my face from getting pressed into the concrete, you know? And basically what happened, man, like we were like gonna go after this dude that was like he had done some terrible shit to like a family member of his or a friend of his or something. And we caught up with him, and the dude called the police. Like, these guys are trying to kill me. Yeah. So we were like, dude, let's get out of here. You know, but Caddy explained the story. It was like, no, this dude was fucking with my homegirl, and like I was protecting her, and you know, they let us go. But yeah, there's just too many to count, man. Like, so many fun times with him, man. Like the one regret I have like with him too, one of the many is just like not having recorded as much music with him, you know, because I hadn't like hit my pocket really yet. I was really dope live, but in the studio I hadn't really found my voice yet, you know. So I didn't think I was like tight enough to like rap on a song with him, kind of thing. You know what I mean?
Right.
Same with you, bro. You know what I mean? I looked up and still do to all you guys. You know what I mean? And I'm grateful for all of you.
You gotten crazy though, fool.
Thank you, bro.
You gotten crazy. As far as you know, it's funny. You and I kicked it a handful of times, but when Caddy passed away, that's when you and I became a lot closer. And then it wasn't until you wound up getting sober,
yeah,
and I was still in active addiction. And you kind of, I mean, you're a huge catalyst for me getting clean. And you helped convince me to go to treatment. You were there for me. Like, what was it like being around me when I'm still getting fucked up, but you're clean?
I mean, it wasn't like triggering or anything, just because you didn't do like your DOCs, drug of choice, like weren't mine. You weren't using needles.
Right.
It probably would have been different if you were like sticking needles in your neck and shit.
Yeah.
But and you weren't like annoying loaded either. So like we'd kick it and work on music. That's when, you know, we did our first track together, Dead End Kids, Dirty Angelino. Shouts to Body Bag Ben, man.
Yeah.
But I remember you were like, dude, but bro, like, do you really think I'm an addict? I'm like, yeah, I do, dude. Remember last week when I came over and you were in the bathroom for 4 hours snorting meth off the toilet.
Yeah.
You know, it doesn't matter what substance it is or how you administer it. It's like why you're using it. Like, you know what I mean? And
I used to do meth and just jerk off for hours.
oh, same, bro. I could never make up my mind what Pornhub video I wanted to watch, dude. Like, I went through all the races, bro. You know,
Yeah.
and like, yeah. Man, to the point where I would have to plug my laptop back in. Like,
Yeah.
it would drain. It would be at 100% when I turn it on. And like, I didn't even start like really beating off till it got to like 12%, dude, you know? Yeah, meth would do
Your
that.
body doesn't disagree with your mind. And
Bro, I'm like, is that my girlfriend? Oh, no.
it is. Oh, even better. What was the catalyst though for you getting clean? What was like when you decided like I've had a fucking enough? What happened? How did you get clean?
I came into the rooms that time on my own, for the first time on my own, without being forced by the judge, without, you know, my family breathing down my neck, without my girl tripping. But I came in that time on a breakup, not with baby mama, girlfriend number 2. Mm-hmm. You know her, I won't say her name. Mm-hmm. And I was devastated, dude, because, you know, I was for the most part like a decent dude, I guess, to her, except for the fact that there's one thing I lied to her about, or just didn't say, failed to mention, was that I was a hardcore junkie. You know, so, you know, she put up with it for like 2.5 years, and then she had enough. And then that was really like, you know, my brother was, he knew, he basically just knew I was gonna die.
$50 from Francis. Love you, homeboy. Hey, come on.
Yeah, hell yeah.
Hey, shout out to the super chats.
Appreciate the super chats. Let's get it cracking out here.
So my family had cut me off. And then my girl left. I had no one left to enable me. You know what I mean? And I'm living in my car, and I thank God for Music Cares Foundation, man. And thank God I had the resume to get accepted on a scholarship.
I told you about Music Cares.
That's fucking dope.
Yeah.
Life
I
changing.
didn't know about that shit,
Yeah.
bro.
Yeah.
I never knew about that shit.
If you're a musician in any capacity, you don't have to be a superstar or nothing.
They used to be a lot more strict as to like accepting people.
Yeah.
Now it's literally like if you have music on Spotify, they got enough donations that year from Anthony Kiedis or whatever, like they'll give you a scholarship. But it's for you don't even have to be an addict or alcoholic. It's just it's for musicians or people in the music industry, not film industry, music industry. Even if you're like a tour bus driver, that you still qualify, you know what I mean? And for musicians in financial crisis, so like I have a homie who is not an addict, he's a normie. You know, a normie is a normal person they use normally or don't use at all. He had dental work he needed done, and they pay a third party. Obviously they wouldn't just give you the direct cash,
Right.
But it was like $7,000 and he fixed his teeth, bro.
It's amazing.
You know, so, you know, I'm definitely going to be donating money to that organization at some point.
As am I. Yeah. It's, so you basically, it was that breakup. You just kind of feeling like you had no more moves to bust, and something inside you made you actually give a fuck about your life and you wanted to live. You found some type of will.
I didn't even want to live at that point. Like, but I was scared. I was too scared to kill myself. Like, I thought about all that, like just, and how I would have done it was I'd sit in my car. I'd buy like 2 grams of fentanyl. I'd load a gram in each syringe, muscle it, just recline my seat back and just die. Like I that thought towards the end, my bottom, the last few weeks was like nonstop. And that scared the shit out of me, dude. And it's like, you know, I have empathy, dude. Like I'm not a piece of shit who only cares about myself. I have a son. I have family members, the ones that are still here, that love me. And that would be the most selfish thing to commit suicide.
It's crazy because I feel like I don't know if you guys can relate. I mean, you obviously can because you just said it, but I don't know about you, Trap. But it's those thoughts, those invasive thoughts that come when you're in your low points of life, where you just like, that's what scared the shit out of me and made me want to get clean multiple times, or woke me up to realize that I have a fucking problem. It's the same thought that when let's say there's a woman who's an addict and she's like, well, I could hit the blade and sell my body, you know what I mean? Or not. And I didn't say that to criticize women that are sex workers. That's not like, but I'm saying if it's a woman that's never done something like that, has no interest in sex work, but then all of a sudden, because like she needs a fix, she's like, well, you know, like I could call fucking Tony and suck him off, you know, or whatever, like, you know, or hit the blade, bust a few dates. Like, it's like, I've had thoughts of like wanting to rob people or like stealing from a family member. Like, things will pop in my head and I'll be like, yo, you are sick.
Yep.
The fact that you're thinking about this. Like, I remember even one time when I was like in the depths of a bad cocaine addiction, like I was blowing a few grams every day, right? Like, it was really dark. And I remember one time, like, you know, I was never really into this. I would smoke coke a little bit, like I'll sprinkle it on a blunt, you feel me? Bong loads and shit. Like, I've smoked crack and all. I never really liked crack like that, you feel me? I like powder, you know, I like doing powder. That was my thing, right? That was my jam, as they say. Wasn't really my jam, bro. That was my jam. And
it was good back then.
I mean, yeah, it was good enough. It was doing the trick. And I remember, like, I would snort so much that like my nostrils would be just completely clogged. Like, there's not a molecule of air that could get up there at a certain point. You feel me? I'm a complete mouth breather. And I remember like the thought creeped into my head one time. So I was like, oh yeah, people like they put coke up their ass, huh? They boof it. Like, and it wasn't like a thought of me like, oh, I'm gonna boof some coke or anything like that. But just the fact that even entered my orbit of thought, I'm like, bro, you need to stop, homeboy. Like,
Might as well be slamming it.
why are you thinking about that? You know what I mean? Like, the fact that was such a sobering thought. Now, I kept snorting. You feel me? Like, after I boofed a coke, no, I did. I've never boofed blow before. But like the fact that something that was so beneath me is now entering my realm of thought. You feel me? Like,
it's amazing. It's crazy how dark our minds can take us, you know, because then,
yeah,
you know, going from like a state of mind like that, thinking like that, and then getting clean and even having like 30 days and, you know, kind of coming out the fog a little bit. And you're like, I cannot believe like my mind went there, dude. You know, like I really had thoughts of robbing this old lady or whatever, you know, like. Yeah. I pretty much did everything but sell my body, dude.
Right.
I bet you if I kept going, I probably would. No homo. I just needed dope. I didn't want to feel what I was feeling. I hated myself, dude.
Yeah.
So I would do whatever I needed to do to not feel, dude. You know?
And then you wound up getting clean by the grace of God. Now, there's another person I want to talk about as well. But before we get into that, like, just like the trajectory of your using, which is crazy because you got sober. You got what, 2 or 3 years?
I had 3.5 years and then I relapsed. Yeah.
Which is what I have right now. And I've been dangerously close to a relapse, but I haven't by the grace of God. But 3.5 years and you wound up going out. And, you know, I remember when, wait, Francis, I always get confused by this. You're a female. Is there 2 Francises that be donating? Because would we have 2 Francis constituents? You're a female, but is there 2 people that use the account? I'm mad confused. But Francis, we love you. I thought you was a girl for the longest, and then I thought you were a dude. Whatever you are, I don't give a fuck. We love you over here, Francis, and thank you for the continued support. But whatever it is, I'll be confused.
Shout out Francis.
Shouts to Francis. You feel me? I remember when Cadillac, who had been sober for the majority of our friendship, when he relapsed and then he got clean again, then he relapsed. And at a certain point, I said to him, I was like, look, bro, like, I'm mourning your death now because it's not a matter of if you're going to die, it's a matter of when. And you're going to die. And I don't want to go through that pain again because it's been so painful watching you slowly deteriorate and kill yourself as one of my best friends. So I'm going to mourn your death right now. Now, will I still kick it with you? Yeah, I'll still see you. You feel me? Like, I'm not giving you any money. I'm not fucking helping your addiction in any way. I still fuck with you. You're still my boy. I still love you, but you're not dead to me, but you're dead to me. You feel me? Does that make sense? And then he wound up, getting clean and relapsing a couple more times. Then he got clean. And I already was like, yo, like, you're dead. You feel me? I'm not, like, still consider you dead. Then he got clean, wound up, his lady wound up getting pregnant. She had the baby. Baby wound up passing away, like maybe like a month old or whatever.
Sudden infant death syndrome.
Yeah. And he was on his way to do a show with me when it happened, which is crazy. I wound up Ubering him to the hospital from the train station. He was supposed to come link with me, but and it was so crazy the way that happened because he was on his way like he's on the train coming back from like NorCal or some shit to do a show with me. And it was either Vegas or NorCal. And then I hit him up while he's on the train. I'm like, what's up? He's like, hey, there's something wrong with my baby. Like he's having a hard time breathing, but it should be all right. I'm like, well, damn. I'm like, let me know what's up. Like, you're going to come or not. Like, I totally understand. Like, like it is what it is. You feel me? Deal with what you got to deal with. Then like he hits me up maybe like 45 minutes, an hour later. And he's like, yeah, I have no money. I need to get to the hospital. Like, the baby's not breathing anymore. I was like, don't trip. I'll get you there. So I Ubered him over there. And then sure enough, like the third nephew from Caddy of mine, I never got to meet, wound up passing away. R.I.P. Silvio. Don't talk about it much, but I felt like it was appropriate at this moment. But he stayed sober through that. Like I thought for sure, I almost was gonna give him a free pass. Like, go ahead. Like I'll fucking help you buy drugs if you need to, type shit. Like fuck. If I remember correctly, like the baby he was using around the time the baby died, and then he got clean once the baby died. No, he was already clean before the baby died. He got clean around like the time the baby was born. Because I know he had like a year when he died. Right. When he relapsed, and then right. So this is what happened. Like, he got clean maybe like a couple weeks before the baby died, like real soon, like between the time the baby was born or maybe right before the baby was born and the baby died, he got clean. Then he stayed clean. He kept staying clean. Then he started to do better, and then he started to look good again. And then he was killing it in rap battles and making fire music and all this great shit, and he's just shining. And then and at a certain point towards the end, I was like, you know what? You're not dead anymore. You're back to life. I didn't think you would be dead. Like, I didn't think you would ever do it. I thought you were for sure going to be gone. This is just going to be like a self-perpetuating cycle till the very end. But you're alive now. And I see it. You're going to make it. And like, you're my best friend again. And like, you got this. And then within a matter of 2 months of that, homeboy dies. It's crazy. And I say all that to say, I felt the same way about you. And I'm having a hard time not feeling it about you still. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, to be honest with you, because you relapsed and it was a slow, painful relapse, starting with the fucking kratom and then the fucking Zans. And then next thing you know, you're fucking back doing dope and you're, car fentanyl.
The fucking kratom, that kratom shit, supposed to get off of heroin and shit. That shit gets you high, huh?
Yes, it's from the coffee plant, but it hits your opiate receptors.
Yeah.
So the same shit.
I was looking into that shit when I was trying to kick off of H.
How my relapse relapse started with kratom, and it was a program friend of mine, and she considered herself sober, even though she would take kratom sometimes. And
respectfully, that bitch is fucking retarded for that.
Right.
Like, respectfully.
So I'm like there, and I see that she's like, let me show you my room. I'm like, okay. And I see a bottle of kratom. I was like, and we had about the same amount of time. I was like, wait, is that kratom yours? She's like, yeah. And I was like, you take it? And she's like, yeah, on occasion, I was like, does your sponsor know? She's like, no, but it's all about intention, And I was like, all about intention, all about intention, all about intention.
That's like a little get out. That's like a little
dude.
Asterisk.
So I was like, I have anxiety. Benzos are bad, so I can't take those, but kratom's natural, so I'll take that. And then, 3 days later, I'm calling my Black Connect,
That's crazy. Does that kratom shit make you a kick? Does it give you like withdrawals?
Oh yeah. Nothing like heroin or like methadone or Suboxone or anything.
Look, I've seen people that are in the throes of heroin addiction kick with kratom. You know what I mean? Like, look, is kratom better than fucking opiates? 100%. But I'm not gonna be an advocate for it either.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I
would never tell someone like, hey man, you should try kratom to kick,
Yeah.
or no.
Never.
Like,
not me personally.
no.
It's for sure better than fucking methadone.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I think Suboxone's fucking janky too, to be honest with you.
Bro.
Like, I think that shit's janky. I know people that have been on Suboxone for fucking 20 years.
A long time.
I got a homeboy that's been on Suboxone, or it was buprenorphine, which is like the
Subutex.
Yeah.
Subutex.
Since 2001. Motherfucker's still on that shit. I know a bitch. We both know a bitch that's been on that shit 13 years strong. She bleeds orange. Feel me? Now, it's funny because your brother's in the building. Good friend of mine, great dude. He, your brother, you were living with him, and when you got kicked out of that house, that was a big thing. A
lot of people don't know that I did relapse. To answer your question, P King.
Yeah, and we are gonna.
I'm just being transparent because why lie? What I mean?
Yeah, he had been sober for 3.5 years. It was the catalyst. We're gonna talk about Ryan in a second.
Yeah.
So we are gonna talk about Ryan. But one of the reasons I got sober was because of you and Ryan. Y'all both were there at the darkest time for me and helped me. And Ryan didn't even really understand that. I had to explain to him later, like, bro, you're a huge part of why I got clean, right? Like, he's like, what, me? Like, I'm fucking all fucked up. But
respect.
He was there. He was there, at a pivotal time. But back to what I was saying before, I had shocked your existence. I was like, I love you. I can't. You probably remember better than I do.
I remember, yeah.
Yeah. What did I say to you?
We were at my trap house in East LA, and you're like, I had picked you up because you were in town.
I had an interview.
And I was like, yo, could we stop? And you said yes, but you were obviously annoyed. I was like, could we stop by the crib so I can get well? And you're like, all right, dude, make it quick,
Because this fool swoops me up, and he's taking me to a podcast in Long Beach, and then I'm moving into a new luxury apartment in Glendale. This is when GTX was booming. I was up. I had hella money. We're about a few weeks away from a huge event. Everything is cracking at this time, right? And one of my best homies is over here fucking,
Trying and shit kicking.
Yeah. So he swoops me up, and then we go to this fool had a fucking back room in a janky part of East Los, I'm not gonna say whose hood it was, where it was, but
active.
It's an active hood that's greenlit. You feel me? He's in a greenlit hood in the East Los. If you know, you feel me? Put two and two together. We're over there, and he just had this room. It looked like a cell in in an insane asylum. It wasn't even it was just like a.
It looked like a movie set,
bro.
like,
Yeah, it didn't look real.
Yeah.
Dog. It was not real. It was just like a bed, and there's like scribble on the wall, and then this fool has a big ass blowtorch, and he's fucking hitting the pookie and fentanyl out of a fucking gravity bog, like
dabbing car fentanyl out of a dab rig, bro.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like ounces probably of fentanyl and meth just on powder on the floor that I spilled on accident and shit, you know?
And this fool's mad at me because he was like, what? So he's like, can I get a job with GTX? Like, he's like, his eyes like, are like, he's like, so you and I'm like, bro, like, nah.
Said that? God damn.
Yeah, I'm like, no, I was like, no, you can't have a job, fool. I was like, if you get
Gotta go hit that music rehab.
music cares. I was like, yo, if you get Peace Naked Night, I was like, if you get clean, I'll give you a job. 100%, but I can't. He's like, well, why? I'm still responsible. Like I won't fuck up. Like, I'm responsible. I'm like, bro, I can't have this working for me right now.
Oh, no. I would have fucked it all up for you, dude.
Bro, there's no way I was giving you a highlight at that point. and then, but what did you say? Like, what did I say to you when I was like?
You said pretty much like exact quote. You're like, I love you, bro. Like, we'll always be friends. Like, you're a very talented artist. I'll always fuck with you on a music level, but like I can't really hang out, like, you know, if you're gonna keep doing this. And you were and you told me that and then I was like, I'm gonna stop, dude, I swear, like, I'm gonna stop, you know. And every fiber in my being, I wanted to, you know,
of course,
but, you know, like, addiction's more powerful than anything, love, everything. You said, okay, well, let's make a deal. If you do, because then I had got on methadone, and you were like, okay, if you relapse one more time, make a deal with me. You have to go to treatment, you know? And I agreed. You know, I relapsed. I didn't follow through with that commitment that I promised.
You did try to go to treatment, though.
I mean, I went to detox.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? And I'm good now. I do my meetings. I'm doing step work. You know, I'm back. I know what to do. I've done it before. But like you saying that, and then, you know, most of my friends aren't around anymore. And then I think that was like maybe like May or June, and then Ryan passed away July 2nd. So it was like boom, and then boom, that happened. And again, I relapsed over a breakup. I mean, I relapsed because I chose to pick up, and then once I put one in, I couldn't control myself. But like, so she's the excuse I use as to why I relapsed, you know, but it was me. And then Ryan passed away, and I was just like, I can't, like, it's over, dude. It's over, you know? You got sober at the right time, because that was like, you know, like I don't know if they ever didn't have fentanyl and other powders, but that's when they started spiking coke and crystal and Molly with fent.
I mean, I had already been strung out on like the fake press Xannies with the fent. I was strung out on fent and didn't even know it until I was like, oh shit, you feel me? Like, right. I'd been taking the fent, like, and I back in the day done motherfucking fentanyl lollipops and all that shit.
Yeah, the blue raspberry flavored
patches and shit.
Fentanyl patches. Man, like, that shit'll serve you.
But yeah, no, that conversation we had, you pissed me off, bro, because you were right. You know, I didn't want to hear it. I didn't want to hear the truth. You know what I mean? I wanted to keep living in my you know, delusion. You know,
and with very few exceptions, there's not too many people that want to live like that. That really genuinely want to live. You saying, like, with every fiber of my being, I wanted to stop, and I wanted, because you did. It's not within our DNA, within our programming as a human being, to want to fucking live like that. You know what I mean? Like, it goes against every instinct beyond just being a human, of being a sentient being. I don't give a fuck if you identify as a rhinoceros, like, whatever it is. Like, motherfuckers are meant to further life, spread their DNA to, you know, like we're not meant to literally just poison ourselves into oblivion. And we somewhere within us as a being of the universe, I would say precious child of God, but if you don't believe that, being of the universe, that goes against, it's counterintuitive to entire nature of merely existing. You know what I mean?
And it blocks all abundance that, you know.
Oh yeah, 1000%.
Is for you, is for everybody, if as long as you're doing right.
How long have you been clean now?
Coming up on 4 months.
4 months. And what's different this time, and what's going to be different?
You know, I have a much closer relationship with my son, my family. The music's taken off. I feel like before I didn't really have much to lose.
What did
know?
you relapse on?
Well, it started with Kratom.
Oh shit.
And then
Okay.
and then
All this fast?
He'd already been clean for a while.
3.5 years, yeah.
Yeah. And so it wasn't like he was trying to get clean and use the kratom to get clean. He had been clean.
So some
Then-
bitch had that shit at the treatment center?
No, I was after a meeting and we went fellowshipping.
They're just kicking it.
And I saw the bottle and I was like, oh shit. And then this girl I was dating at the time, I was feeling completely fine too, like not even anxious, but I'm like, pull over, I have anxiety. I need to get kratom at this smoke shop. And she's like, are you sure that's not like a relapse though? I'm like, no, it's all about intention, you know? I was like, she said that and I ran with that, dude. You know, like, same thing. Like I've ran with the, you know, relapse is part of recovery.
How does that shit?
And it's it's part of the disease.
I'm gonna
dude.
go fuck a stripper and tell my girlfriend, like, yo, it's all about intention.
Right, dude. Like,
See how that works.
babe, it's not cheating. I love you. I just fucked her. Like,
It's all about intention.
Like, so, and it just, dude, like within a week where I was at, after picking up, it was like that 3.5 years, it was just right back. My emotional mind state, like weight loss, all that, like it was my last week using in 2018.
How does that shit make you feel?
Kratom?
Yeah.
Kratom's like, you know, taking like a Norco for your first time.
Oh, okay.
It's very mild, you know.
Shit is whack.
Whack as fuck, dude.
Have you ever heard of Ibogaine?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, of course.
Ibogaine treatment centers
Yeah.
in fucking Mexico.
Ibogaine, that's for like if people are severely addicted. It basically is like
PTSD too.
It
yeah.
it rewires you.
it's like a psychedelic. Essentially, it's a psychedelic experience.
Have any of you guys ever tried it?
I have not done it.
I've done Ibogaine in rehab. This hippie chick brought it in, and I had no idea what it felt like or anything. And she's like, "Yeah, you just like, you know, like lick your finger and like." And I was like, "Am I?" And we were about to have group, you know.
Yeah.
And she's like, "Yeah, you won't like hallucinate." And there's tracers, and I was just like, "Oh my god!" And
Yeah,
my
you
eyes are
fucking-
dilated,
you
and
trip
like
off that shit.
everyone's looking at me.
Psychedelic, right?
Yeah, like one of the strongest, dude. Like how.
When you go to Mexico, like it's like ayahuasca. But
Yeah.
But people
I've
take
seen
care of you.
videos.
Bring you food and all
I've
that.
seen videos.
So how it works is like you do the ayahuasca and
Is it
then
the same shit? Ayahuasca and Ibogaine?
no. So you do the ayahuasca is DMT, dimethyltryptamine.
Okay.
But just much more potent.
It's different, but it's like
Yeah, but so you do the ayahuasca and then like your aftercare routine, you do Ibogaine to like as like maintenance kind of.
And you don't even need to do the ayahuasca. It's like I know people that in sobriety have done Ibogaine treatments, and it's considered like acceptable or whatever. You know what I mean? Like me personally, I'm staying away from it. You know, I don't feel like although probably would be good for me to have a fresh perspective, but I don't need. That's like the addict in me. That's a little devil on my shoulder. Like, yeah, do a fucking Ibogaine. I don't need that personally. You know what I mean? Like, I know I don't, but it sounds fucking great. It sounds hella fun. And if I was like, I've heard of people that are in the throes of like heroin addiction where that shit has got that monkey off their back.
I have a homie that was a gnarly junkie dude, and he was like an angry person too, and he paid, I don't know how much he paid, but like a bus picked him up from Seattle where we were living at the time and picked up all these people driving south down through crossing the Mexican border to do ayahuasca and ibogaine. And he has like 15 years clean now.
Yeah.
And he's like, but he's like not depressed anymore. He was like manic depressive too. He's like happy.
That shit, like, opens up your third eye or some shit, and like it's something that, right? Like it's like it's a ceremony. Or
yeah, but I mean, you know, it's like, you know, it's all about intention, right? But no, like if you, I'm not ready for that shit. It's not worth the risk for me, dude. But like, if the intention is right, you're not doing that at some Hollywood trap pad with some dude who's administering it to you. Like people I know that it's really worked for, they go to like Peru or like, you know, Tulum or, you know, whatever, and do it with like real shamans and like ceremonial. And you know, that's cool. Like, you know, that's, you know, everyone's path's different, but like, just like I would never tell someone, yeah, you should try kratom. Like, you know, like I would, if a newcomer asked me, yo, how do I get sober? I would never be like, you should do DMT. I'd be like, you should try a 12-step program first.
I've looked it up, the ibogaine treatment shit, and with like heroin addicts and shit like that, and they all leave good reviews and shit in those places, I think.
Well, I'll tell you like this, bro. I could only, like, I've heard of things and I can tell you what my experience has been with things, but I could only tell you how I got sober. I can't tell you what to do, what not to do, what's going to work for you or anybody else. All I can do is tell you what I went through, how I got clean, how I'm staying clean. Anything else, like, is really just...
I could tell you how I got sober, too. I straight kicked in the house.
There you go.
Sweated the fuck out of that
cold
shit
turkey?
Through it, because I couldn't find any more veins, bro.
So you really can't tell anybody. You can't tell anybody. Too. Right. So you can't tell anybody about going to treatment or doing this or that. All you can do is talk about how you got clean. And that's how you got clean.
Yeah, that's how I got clean.
And you're a fucking maniac. But
you're a fucking maniac.
No, like honestly though, the fact that you're able to get clean like that is a testament to your character. I couldn't. I don't believe I could have done that.
What about you? I remember you're like, shit, like I'm going to rehab, dude. It's only for 30 days though, and then boom, the world shuts down.
Yeah, no, that's my ego.
Like, honestly, yeah, but that was like, that was like God looking out, dude. Like, because you ended up having to stay longer because they closed the world. Like,
I think it's more of a bitch in rehab centers because you're in there with a bunch of fools trying to get high, bro.
It depends. It depends on where you're at.
I've only been to rehab once, and there's one fool that I was right there with. We both dipped out because he you know, we were both like if he wouldn't have been there, bro, everybody else was like, nah, don't leave. But this fool just came along and we were like, let's dip, bro. Let's get the fuck out of here.
It'd be like
I wasn't even there 4 days, bro, and I was sick as fuck.
I've luckily always ended up when I'm in treatment with a cool roommate that like wants to do it right, you know. A few of them, like I'm like, God, like, and I really wanted to stay sober, but this dude won't shut the fuck up about how bad he wants to drink or, you know, smoke meth, and I'm like fucking like asking to change rooms and shit.
Well, that's why it's important to go to like for me, I went to a high accountability treatment center where that shit gets frowned upon. They don't allow that type of shit to happen, and I was miles from civilization. There is no dipping.
I told you last time I was in Tarzana.
Yeah, bro. Like we've all been to fucking.
Bro, those beds are so uncomfortable. They hate me there, bro.
Yeah,
they hate me.
Dirty as fuck in there, bro.
But look, I cold turkeyed meth. I cold turkey quit coke. I cold turkey quit fucking opiates. I did cold turkey quit every single fucking drug except for benzos and alcohol, and I could not fucking stop. And I went to treatment and it saved my life.
And you can't cold turkey that shit. Like,
right.
You could fucking die.
You can't.
Dude.
You can cold turkey anything else, but you can't.
What'd they give you? Librium or something?
They gave me a loading dose of Valium because it has it's the same thing.
Phenobarbital?
Yeah, they gave me a bunch of vitamins.
You can't cold turkey like Xanax and shit?
No, you can't.
Yeah.
You can't. It's very dangerous.
You can seize up and die.
Yeah.
Yeah. Fuck.
And the alcohol, same thing. And like that's like Batman and Robin, those two together. You've seen the way I used to do it too, bro. It wasn't cute. Then, but you know, when I wound up getting clean, and the last pills that I got actually were from, you know, Caddy was an incredible dude, and we'll always love Caddy, and Caddy's memory lives on. And there's another guy whose memory lives on.
Yeah.
Ryan Leone.
Yeah.
Ryan Leone, who gave me the last pills I took in my life this day. And I'm glad because I was getting very dope sick and I needed them. And he gave me those pills and wound up going to treatment, had his book. And so talk about Ryan Leone. Who is he for the people that don't know? What were your experience with him?
I need a sec. That boarding school I went to my freshman year, the art school, in 8th grade, how Ryan and I met. In 8th grade, I was like touring private schools to find one that was suitable for me, you know? And we were in the, he had just got like, he was in wilderness camp in like Utah or Montana or something. And so his parents put him in Midland. It was called Midland School. No joke, directly across the street from Neverland Ranch. Like you could walk to the driveway to the street and see Michael Jackson's mailbox, dude. And I met Ryan there. They had like skateboard ramps that they built. And they let me bring my skateboard. I toured the school for like 5 days or something, like going to the classes, like sleeping there, like all that shit. And Ryan had his skateboard. I seen him in the corner skateboarding and by himself. And I was like, we introduced ourselves to each other and I was like, yo, like, so how is this school? Is it chill? And he's like, fuck no, this place is whack. Don't come here. You know, he's like, actually, I'm waiting on my homie to come pick me up. Like, and he tried AWOLing like on a bicycle and shit and didn't get very far. They caught him. But I ended up not going to that school. Ryan, I remembered Ryan specifically because
they send police after you if you relapse?
Huh?
If you AWOL, would they send police after you, or is it just like security?
Security, yeah.
I gotta take a picture.
And Ryan, he was from Santa Barbara, and this was like Shorty's skateboard era. Yeah. You know, Muska,
right?
That whole team, right? Peter Smolik, all them, and Ryan was homies with all them. You know what I'm saying? Like all the like Sammy Baptista, Jesse Sylvie, Caddy's brother, Chris was tight with Sylvie too. Yeah. But I thought that was so cool because like Fulfill the Dream was one of my favorite skate videos, you know, and Ryan, he was trying to get Jesse Sylvie to come pick him up from school, you know what I mean? And so like that's just how I remembered him. And then I was in treatment maybe. So shit, I was like 14 at that time. I was in treatment, maybe I was about 24 or 5. And a girl was there and she was from Santa Barbara and she was like, who do you know from Santa Barbara? And I was like, no one really. Like I named a few people and then she asked me, do you know Ryan Leone? And I was like, actually, yeah, I do. Like I met him like however many years ago, you know? And then like, but he at that time he was in federal prison for heroin conspiracy, right? He got indicted. He was in the feds. And he made a Facebook post one day. This was like right after Caddy passed. I just got out of jail and he made a post saying like, yo, any of my friends in Pasadena, I'm at Bishop Gooden, which is a treatment center there. Like, who can pick me up? And I was like, I DM'd him. I was like, yo, what up, man? Like, do you remember me? And he did. And I went and picked him up. Or no, he picked me up. And we started hanging out. And he like had published a book, Wasting Talent, you know.
For those that don't know, Ryan is one of the greatest authors of our generation. Like, incredible precocious talent. Like anybody that can pick up one of his books, do it. Amazing storyteller. Amazing
storyteller, man.
He's like the equivalent to like a basketball player that never practiced but was born with a fucking 35-foot jumper that would just like. Yeah,
when Ryan was like 9 years old, he won a nationwide Goosebumps writing short story contest. He won. And he wrote Wasting Talent when he was in federal prison. And so he got out of prison, I think 2015. We bumped into each other 2016. So like the book had been published already. It was doing good.
And it's weird because Ryan is like, you know, like women loved him. He was like a good looking dude. Like, and like, he didn't look like what you would picture like a typical like precocious writer.
Right. Not at all.
Yeah.
No, he looked like a straight degenerate.
Yeah.
Dude. Like, so we started hanging out and, you know, using together. Caddy passed. So I'd been sober for that little bit, and Caddy passed, and I started using again. Ryan and I were using, and, you know, became really close, you know, and, you know, he was a huge fan of my music. I loved his writing. He was always telling me, dude, you should write a book. You should write a book. You know, now I've been doing, he also has a YouTube channel, you know, telling stories.
Amazing stories.
Soft White Underbelly. What? I don't know. Yeah. Ryan was on that show too.
Dumbass trolls.
Yeah. Dumbass trolls. Fuck out of here. So we became good friends, and he went back to prison on a violation. But like he had all this footage of himself from like a baby on. Like, I don't know if he just always was like, hey dude, everywhere we go, to his friends, just film me, or I don't know. Like, but they got all this footage out of his old cell phones and started making a documentary.
Which we got a song on.
We got a song on. And then Ryan had gone back.
That Ryan is featured on the intro.
Ryan's featured on the intro. Ryan went back to prison on a violation. And so the documentary got put on hold. And we reunited when he got out. I was sober. I had about a year, I think, or a little bit less than that. And got back working with the documentary, you know, a bunch of big people involved, you know. I can't talk too much on the documentary, but like for those that do know, and I know that it's been long awaited, but it is coming out this fall.
I mean, this dude had co-signs from Johnny Depp to the Jim Oles, the screenwriter of Fight Club, to you know, fuck dude, he did an audiobook called Drug Stories for Truckers that has like narration from Johnny Depp, Freeway, Ricky Ross, Boston George, Tommy Chong. They even said Johnny Depp told him that he believed that he was like the successor to Dr. Gonzo, to Hunter S. Thompson.
Dude, Johnny Depp. So like Ryan's tattoo artist, Jonathan Shaw, is a really good friend of Johnny Depp, and that's how Ryan met Johnny Depp. And so Johnny Depp and Ryan became friends, and Ryan passed away July 2nd, 2022. His year death anniversary just passed.
His last text to me, by the way, I don't know if I ever told you this. His last text to me was him worried about you.
Worried about me?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Him and I kind of had a falling out at the end, dude, which you know, kills me, dude. Things just, the energy wasn't the same anymore between us. I saw him a few more times before he passed away, but it was like he couldn't look me in the eye type shit. And it's like, you know, I was just frustrated, dude. Like, cause I tried so hard. I drove him to treatment a bunch of times. He'd AWOL, like he just, you know, like, just I was so frustrated I couldn't help him, you know, and like I didn't, you know, he wanted to score, I didn't want to help him out, he got pissed, you know, like that's the kind of shit I'd do the same thing if the tables were turned, you know. So he even like blocked me on Instagram and Facebook, you know, and I saw him like 3 days before he passed away, and that was it for me. That was you know, that happening. And then, you know, everyone around me getting busted too, and like me, like I it was a close call. I dodged so many bullets, literally too, in my life, you know. And like Ryan, you know, I just that dude was such an inspiration and just so intelligent, and you know, just taken from us way too soon, you know. And you know, I'm you know, I'm good friends with the mother of his kids, and you know, his kids are like my nephews, you know what I mean. So the documentary is coming out in the fall. He has a new book called Anti-Heroes that is coming out in a few weeks. It's got the cosign from Johnny Depp on the cover.
I mean, Johnny Depp literally gave him.
He gave him Hunter S. Thompson's fucking cigarette holder that Johnny Depp wore in Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas, bro.
It's pretty crazy.
Gifted him that shit, you know? But, you know, that's so when Ryan passed away, first it was Caddy, you know, and then Ryan, and
It's the same thing. Like that's how close I am with Caddy's family, and you know his kids and all that.
I got paranoid, and I'm like, I was so paranoid. I was like, dude, I'm next, dude. Like if I don't stop, like it's gonna be me, you know. And it would have. Like I know that for a fact.
And I'm gonna tell you like this, Riggs, like. You ain't got another run in you, bro.
No way.
I hope you know that, bro.
No way.
Like, even like during your last relapse, you almost died. You know what I mean? You had some ODs, and I'm
a couple of them. Yeah.
Like I don't know how you made it. I'm glad you did, but like this is it, bro. And you've seen what it's like. It don't get better. And if there is a silver lining, I could say that I might have relapsed if I didn't see what happened to you when you relapsed. Now that don't make it better. That don't make it right. You feel me? But like it's not for nothing. But that don't mean you need to do it again or anything like that.
And it's not part of the process, man. It's part of your disease. Like you don't, you know, you can get clean your first time around and that be it. Like you don't, you know, like
it's not fun, right? Relapse.
Fuck no, man. Fuck no.
It's not fun.
Everyone's mad at you. You're mad at yourself. You like, I'm so grateful I made it back, man.
Like I could say what happens when you stop going to meetings, when your whole shit gets fucked off as a result of not taking your program seriously. Anything that I put above my program, I'm gonna lose. I said that on a live with Trap the other day. You feel me? Like, and I could say that what your experience can tell people is the relapse shit don't fucking work. You know what I mean? It don't make things better. But the person you are when you're clean is awesome. And you do great art. Your art's on the come up. You feel me? There's always going to be a million reasons to relapse, but not one of them is going to be that it's going to make shit better.
No.
You know what I mean? And we have the legacy of our brothers Cadillac Ron and Ryan Leone to live through us as testaments to their brilliance and what they've contributed.
We gotta carry the torch and tell the stories, you know, in hopes of saving, you know, another life. That's
We're the last
whole
two
point
left.
of this, for real, bro.
The last two left
For real, bro.
of our clock.
You know, yeah, I miss him, man. I miss Caddy. I can't believe it's been what is it, 8 years? And
Caddy was 2016, so it was 7 years. It's like it'll be 8 years in January.
January 22nd. Yeah.
22nd.
Yeah.
Yeah. But here we are, still fucking thugging, bro.
Yeah, shit. I'm going to a meeting right after this, man.
That's
you know. So
that's right. Well, look, Riggs, you got a lot of music cracking, you know. So what's what you got coming out? Let them know what's cracking with Angelino Records. Got your own label under Sony Orchard.
Angelino Records, it's a subsidiary label under Sony the Orchard / Artist Collective. You know, shouts to everyone on my team: El Diablo Beats, Blaze Alias, Word Up, Sonny Darko, Deadbeat Donnie. Shouts to Jordan River Recordings. El Diablo Beats and I just dropped an EP called 37 Miles from Neptune. It just came out August 25th. Yeah, it's gonna be fire.
And you're very eloquent at telling your drug stories and just like all the shit you've gone through in your music. It's like a great outlet. Like,
Yeah, and this album in particular, it's definitely more positive. You know, it's I wanted to the album I did before that was called The Last Run. Ironic, right? And that was just such a dark time in my life, just trying to get back. You know, I wanted to put something out that was inspirational, and
you ain't got to earn any more stripes. You feel me? You've been and shit. We got a whole album, the Dead End Kids, Nod Street album. You feel me?
Yep.
We've been making music since we did the Rehab Legend Part 2 song, the sequel to Caddy song. So you know you can check that out. Check out Riggy's Killing the Game. We gonna have some new joints dropping soon.
absolutely.
Looks like he got a Trap 9 video coming soon as well. So
yeah, we got
Just a
some
Trap
work on it,
9.
man. Y'all stay tuned for that shit.
Hell yeah. Yeah, man. Yeah. Follow me at Riggy Marz, RIGGY MARZ, my YouTube channel at Riggy Marz. You know, I tell some pretty wild story videos on that shit too. So
we gonna have you around on this channel more as well.
yeah, hell yeah. That would be dope, man.
With that being said, you feel me? Shouts to all the constituents of Lush World. You feel me? Everybody, for all your sexual enhancement needs, go to www.royaltyhoneyyusa.com. Put in discount code LUSHUNO, one word, all caps. But there's no cap. It really works. It'll make you light as a feather, stiff as a board. You'll be knocking it down like never before. To y'all ladies, it works for y'all too. It'll turn your pool into an oasis. You feel me? You already know. You feel me? Shouts to all the constituents. Drop some cocaine bot emojis in the chat. You feel me? Join the Lush World Discord. Great conversations. If there's a mod in the chat that could drop a link for people, it would be much appreciated. With that being said, shouts to all the fly ladies out there, all the Dolce de Leches, the Butter Pecan Ricans, the Chocolate Deluxes, the Caramel Sundays with the cherries on top. You feel me? The French Vanillas, the bonbons, and all that good stuff. And of course, all the hustlers, grinders, go-getters, getting to it. Everybody working a 9 to 5, whether you put in work on the faculty or in the factory, however you stacking cheese, you feel me? You got to whip that motherfucking daiquiri. Y'all know what it is. Much love to all the constituents of Lush World. We appreciate all y'all for rocking with us. Riggy, any final thoughts before we sky up out this motherfucker?
Man, just thank you guys for having me on. You know, thank you to all the supporters. And yeah, please, yeah, subscribe. Patreon.com/Riggy Marz for exclusive content. I will send you nudes with a written love letter in calligraphy. They're all numbered too and all, you know, original. They're all, you know, no, I'm just kidding.
Worth the price of admission alone.
Yeah, absolutely, man. And yeah, just grateful to be alive. If you feel like using today, if you ever need to reach out, fucking hit me up on Instagram, man. Like, voice call me. I'll fucking answer. You know what I mean?
That's some real shit right there.
You know, that's what it is, man. And you know, you can find happiness without destroying yourself, without drugs and alcohol, you know? And if people like Lush can do it and I can do it, and he can do it, anybody can, you know? Yeah.
Best believe, yes, indeedy. You feel me? We get into Dirty Angelinos in the motherfucking house, Dead End Kids shit. Y'all already know. We appreciate each and every one of y'all. We do this for y'all. Shouts to the people that shot the super chats. Like, share, subscribe, spread the word, or run it up. And with that being said,
Bitch, we out.
We about this biatch, out this biatch. Ooh.
That was dope.
Dope little 2 hour, you feel me?
2 hours?
It's over 2